Hey guys, welcome to a whole year worth of tea. And it's been quite a journey. I got some stuff I want to remark on. I got a before and after for you guys. And yeah, let's dive into it. So, first off, I wanted to remark on the fact that I'm not trying to encourage people to be trans here. This is me just documenting my journey and what it's like to show and give exposure to the community. So, that being said, I am going to be starting to add disclaimers into my videos. It's just going to be like a black slide with some text on it saying that, like, I'm not encouraging you guys to be trans. I am here to document my journey. And I'm trying to give exposure to the ugliness of being trans and how much we are getting discriminated against. And it's kind of gonna be like, this is why kind of black people have been included into the trans community, because it's like grouping together a bunch of people that are getting discriminated against. It's not just people who are trans that are involved in here. It's kind of just exposure to people who are discriminated against. Again, that being said, I am not trying to encourage anybody to be trans. I am trying to give exposure to the community and what it's like to be trans. And if a lot of you are following my videos and seeing the comments and stuff, you can see how ugly it is and how much people still do not support us being trans. And I even had a coworker this past week come up to me and ask, is trans being a disorder kind of thing? And I was kind of caught off guard about this question, and I really wasn't sure how to like answer it properly. I wanted to answer it properly now that I've kind of thought about it in the proper way that I've like had doctors kind of addressing it as well. So being trans isn't a disorder. It's the gender dysphoria that goes along with being trans that's the disorder. That's the best way I can kind of describe it. And then alongside with that, something else that I was thinking about too for cisgender people and people who don't really accept the trans community at all. If you wanted to be more accepting of it and you're like on here for some reason because you want to learn about it, just kind of think about being trans or trans people as like a new category of people kind of thing. So like you have your cisgender men, you have your cisgender female. Now we have a new category of trans men, trans women. Yes, they are still trans, yes, they are still men and women, but if you need to have a separate category kind of thing to help yourself be more accepting of the community, just be like, okay, so trans men are a new category of humans or something. Again, we are still men and women. And then obviously you have your non-binary folk who have kind of various identities, presentations, and body parts and all that. And I did want to kind of say to my trans friends and stuff that I want you to kind of understand that the older generations aren't going to be as accepting as of us because of the fact that we are new and they've been doing their own habits for so long that they're not going to be very accepting of us. Again, when you encounter people like that, just don't get upset about it. Just understand that they've been on this earth for longer and they've been processing things that we don't really do too much differently. And again, for somebody who's been doing something for 40 years, it is a really hard change. You can have people that want to understand and want to kind of get into it a bit more, but it is really hard for them because of the fact that they've been doing stuff for so long. That's like kind of like if you make a habit and you enjoy this habit and then something comes along and it's new and that doesn't really work for you, you don't really want to change your habit because of the fact that you've set this routine and it's what works for you. So sort of like I guess you could address it as like, you come home, you watch TV, you take a shower, you eat dinner, you go to bed. That's your habit. Okay, great. That works for you. But some people like to come home, take a shower, and go to bed, not even eat. Some people like to come home, eat, and then take a shower, and then go to bed, not even watch TV, kind of thing. So it's sort of like this is a set habit for them of like they identify trans people as still their cisgender because of the fact of their genitals being this one thing. I know that we don't agree with that. I am not trying to side with them. I'm just trying to explain point of views and possibly just an understanding thing. I am trying to give respect to everybody in this manner. I'm not trying to defend anybody. I am just trying to show that I am respecting everybody and their point of views and kind of be like, I agree to disagree. And from that, I am kind of creating this space where you're welcome to have a different opinion than I am, but I still want to give you respect. And if you're going to come at me and try to start an argument, then I'm going to walk away because I value my internal peace of mind and self more than I value an argument that I know it's two opinions that are never going to come together. So I just want us all to kind of give respect to each other and know that we all have different opinions, we all have different approaches to life, and that's okay. And from that, I want to kind of march into saying, yes, I am a trans man. I dress certain ways that a cisgender man may not. That's okay. I wear bracelets, I wear necklaces, I wear jewelry. That is fine. Men who are cisgender also can do that. I've met quite a few. And especially whenever I go to get more piercings, my piercer is a cisgender man. And he has a lot of piercings. It is a thing that people can have. And there is no set way for a person to present themselves. There is a huge variety of people in this world. You can have a cisgender man enjoy wearing bracelets, enjoy wearing necklaces, have 1,000,002 piercings, and they are still a cisgender man, and you're still going to identify them as a man. You might be weirded out or uncomfortable by them, but they are still a man. Even if they weren't cisgender man and they still presented that way, they are still a man. It's not so much what you think they got going on in their pants, it's what they identify and choose to present as. And if they want to be acknowledged as a man and they want to use he, him pronouns, I'm just asking for respect and for you to just identify this person as that. If you don't want to, then I don't understand why you're here, because I'm just trying to give us all respect. And if you're here watching it, then you want to understand and you want to kind of have this understanding. But also, it's okay to not understand. You don't have to understand everything in this world. There is so many things in this world that none of us will ever understand, and acknowledging that is okay. Like, some people will never understand how to cut hair. That's okay. I'm a cosmetologist. That's okay. I do weird stuff with my hair all the time because of the fact that I have gone to cosmetology school and I've seen like normal basic haircuts. Like, I'm not trying to be the average Joe here. I'm trying to be myself, and whatever myself is, to be happy. So I'm not here to please you guys. I'm here to make myself happy and document that. And that's who I am. And part of the reason I wear bracelets, this one, bug spray. I don't ever remember to put bug spray on. If you want me to give you a description why I wear my stuff. This is my watch. I need to know what time it is. Who doesn't? These bracelets, I am a practicing Buddhist. I am also Native American. And I'm also a witch. I am a complicated person. Oh well. This is all my interests. I have probably way too many, a lot of you might even say. So from that, this is all linked to my practice, spiritual practice, and that's okay. I present this way. I choose to. It makes me happy. It makes me feel comfortable. I'm not here to make you guys see me as a man. I am here to make myself happy and present the way that I feel comfortable, and I am the most happy that I've ever been in my life. And I keep saying that, and I won't stop saying it because I am. And yeah. So, a whole year worth of tea, I feel stronger, I feel happier, I feel myself. And I haven't been suicidal for a year and 3 months, because 3 months prior to starting on tea, I was still suicidal, and then I admitted to myself that I'm trans, and then I stopped being suicidal. So, that's where I'm at. And so, yeah, I dress a certain way all the time. I am mostly goth, but I like to have a splash of color here and there. Again, golf culture can tend to wear a lot of jewelry, a lot of makeup, a lot of weird stuff going on. So I'm kind of involved in that as well. I'm also part of hippie culture. I like to smoke weed occasionally. And I like to wear bright ass colors in everybody's face. So again, I have a vast variety of interests and ways that I like to present myself. There's no one set way that I like to present myself. If there was, it would make everything easier. And especially if it was to make it so everybody could see me as a male more easier. That would be easier, but I don't really care. I like to blur lines sometimes, and sometimes I don't even care about labels, which a lot of people in the trans community don't really care about labels after they start feeling comfortable with themselves. So that's just a thing. And the cookie cutter guy that everybody wants to have these trans people fit into, you're not going to get that, because a lot of us like to blur the lines. And then I know some of you will come in and say, well, then they're not a man. Okay, you want to see a couple pictures of cisgender men that you still consider men? Marilyn being one of them. He wears a lot of jewelry, a lot of weird stuff. Andy Biersack, he can be quite eccentric in his way he presents a lot too. And then we also have Rob Zombie. He also presents in a very interesting way too. Ryan Gosling, he likes to have his hair bleached occasionally for reasons of being in the Barbie movie. And there's quite a few others that I'm gonna put into pictures here. Does that make them any less of a man because they're presenting in a certain way? No. They're just doing their thing. They're enjoying their life. They're exploring their options, exploring their opportunities, and that's okay. And then same thing for trans women. Sometimes they're so early off on their transition. If they choose to go on hormones, some people don't even want to do that because they don't want to mess with the chemistry of their body. Does that make them any less of a woman or a man? No. If they choose to present a certain way, then that's okay. I understand that older generations are concerned about pedophiles and having creepy men go into the women's bathroom. Just take a friend, ladies. I know it's uncomfortable, and I know that there's been laws passed about this, and you don't agree with that. That's okay. I know it's scary. If you don't feel comfortable going to the bathroom in a public space now, I would recommend going home or something. I know that's a lot of work, and it shouldn't be like that, and it shouldn't be okay for creepy men to be doing that, but I would recommend getting some pepper spray or something that makes you feel safe. This is just the way the world is changing. I know the anxieties that women face and the creepiness that men have over women a lot of times. I have been there. I was an attractive female, and I no longer am. I am happy of this sense. But again, just respect. That's all I'm asking for everybody here to just kind of give. I also, again, want to thank everybody who has been leaving comments, and also, like, kind of address the fact that I do get a lot of negative comments and a lot of people that forcibly think that they can inflict their opinions upon me. Like, whatever, that's your opinion, that's not mine. We are here to agree to disagree. it is what it is. We're allowed to have different opinions. Otherwise, if we were all the cookie cutter same thing, there would be no variety in this world and it would get really boring. And honestly, I would not want to live in a world like that. It would honestly disgust me, and I much rather be dead than be in a world like that. And a lot of people also I have seen saying your lifespan might get shortened and stuff on being on hormones and stuff. Okay, my choice, my body, my life, whatever. I much rather live a short life of being who I am than a long life of being miserable and wanting to die every single day of my life. I did that for 25 years. I'm done. I don't want to do that anymore. So, yeah. So, a lot of people that identify as trans also don't owe you the identification in the appearance of looking like the identity that they want to identify as. I know it'll be very hard because a lot of people just look at someone and they just assume their gender. A lot of people in the trans community would get angry at you for that, because of the fact you shouldn't be assuming. Again, guys, just kind of lighten up. The older generations, there is a lot of people that are trying to understand it and be respectful of it, but sometimes there is the person that is tired and not really conscious of what they're doing, but they just kind of slip out. It happens. I do that sometimes, even. Like, sometimes I still assume genders. I'm in between the generations of the two. So, automatically off the bat, I am really bad with names. If I don't know your name, I'm going to automatically default to trying to say the gender I think they are, which could be wrong. And I would immensely apologize. And then I would also mention that I am trans myself and I didn't mean anything by it. But again, just the apology right there is important to show that, like, you didn't mean anything by that. And maybe some people in the trans community will hold a grudge against you because of that. But again, we just need to lighten up. This is a sensitive subject, and because of so many people getting discriminated against, people are quick to try to defend themselves. And the fact that we are so discriminated against has us all have our barriers of defensiveness up because of the fact that we're getting discriminated against so often. So that's where our anger comes from, because of the fact that we all feel that we need to be respected, but a lot of us are not receiving it, especially if we're not living in a safe environment to be out of the closet. And I also wanted to say happy Pride Month, everybody. I hope everybody has a lovely Pride Month, and I am super happy to have started my journey at the end of Pride Month to be starting my trans journey. So yes, this is the very beginning of June. I already did take my injection, so at the end of this video, I will not be showing you me taking my injection. This is me my day after I take my injection, so I figured I would do a day after just to kind of show you guys, like, a little bit after when my hormones start kicking in a little bit. I guess I would fall into the category of flamboyant gay boy, where I like to still talk with my hands. I like to be very out there with my personality. I'm very expressive. I'm very open. I am open to people asking me questions. Sometimes I may get very uncomfortable with the questions I ask because people don't know how to ask them properly. My coworker, that person that asked me the question, I did get very uncomfortable with the beginning of that, but then I kind of calmed myself down and I gave him a better answer. So it's okay. We all have our mental stuff that we're going on and ourselves that we gotta work through. So I was able to stay calm and answer his question that he had, and I'm proud of myself for doing that. But again, a lot of people who have no knowledge in, like, the trans community and don't really even know where to start and how to ask questions, sometimes can also come across as transphobic, but it's not really the case. They just want to get educated because they're confused. It happens, especially since this is such a new thing to a lot of them. A lot of us, maybe not so much, but again, it happens. And so from that, if you are uncomfortable with a person and the way they are engaging you, you do not need to engage with them. I know there is this like social norm where a lot of us were brought up, if someone talks with you, you are required to talk and have a conversation with them. You are welcome to just walk away if you're uncomfortable. You do not need to give them an explanation to why you're walking away. If they run after you and try to force you into a conversation, then you have every right to pretend you're on the phone and you are talking with your friend or something. Maybe they will get the hint. You can also legit actually call somebody and start talking on the phone. And if they try to talk with you, be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the phone. Please leave me alone, kind of thing. You don't have to engage with people if they make you uncomfortable. There's no requirement. Just be yourself. Move on. There is nothing here requiring you to be in that conversation or this space that makes you uncomfortable, unless that is your living space and you are not old enough to move out yet, obviously. And I hope when you do move out, you are able to have this safe space to be yourself. Up until then, if it is not a safe space to come out of the closet, I wish you luck and strength to get through that. Just know that you are loved, and someday you will be able to come out of the closet and you will be able to be yourself. So it is a tough journey. A lot of us have been forced into these people expectations of who we should be and what we should present as because of the way we were born and the way that we are developing. A lot of new parents these days, if they are accepting of the trans community, will try to educate their kids early on. There is some people who will shelter their kids and try not to even expose them to the community at all. But later on, eventually, they will learn about the community. And I hope that they are more accepting of the community and at least maybe even can just give it respect and not be discriminating against them. And I suppose this episode is going to be quite short today because I am not doing my injection. I have not many things that I wanted to really talk about. So I guess today we're going to be talking a little bit more about like the flags. I am still learning a lot of the flags. I know that the trans flag is a pink, blue, and white. So if you see that around for Pride Month stuff, this person is a supporter of trans people. So here's just like a picture of a bunch of them. So if you are somebody in the community and you are still trying to learn what the flags that you would have in your house or in your space, or you would want to know what kind of people are identifying as specific things, or if people are supportive of that, these are the types of flags that you would look for to see what they identify as or what they support. So obviously we always have the progression pride flag, which is the one with the arrows and the brown, black, and white kind of thing on it. That one is my favorite. I love that progression flag. I have that one around in my space as well. I keep that one, and that one's kind of close to my heart because I love the community. I do wish there was a little bit less aggression around us all the time, and we were able to be less discriminated against, so we weren't as anxious and like defensive when we feel we are getting discriminated against. Unfortunately, it happens very frequently, so that's why a lot of people see our community, unfortunately, as a very aggressive, angry one because of the fact that we are discriminated against so much. And then this also being an election year being very difficult too, because we're also trying to see if we are actually going to be more accepted or if we're going to get suppressed against again and forced back, basically back into the closets, which a lot of us have very loud voices and we will not go back into the closet. I would say I'm probably about 75% of the loudmouth and then 25% of the quiet one. I have been a lot more confident as I've become more comfortable in myself, and so that way I've been a lot more vocal with everything. I even wear regularly a he, they pin. I wear it to work, I wear it around in my space, just so there's less confusion about what I am. Obviously, people are not going to always be paying attention to my pin, so I still get the misgendering, especially when I'm presenting the way that I do, which I know happens. There's been a lot more people accepting of it, and I'm still kind of uncomfortable about which bathroom I go into. If I know that there's a lot more older people in the area, I guess I would probably step foot into the feminine bathroom, but then it's like I look very masculine, I feel. So I just feel uncomfortable in the women's bathroom. Obviously, you do have like your butch lesbians where they look very masculine, anyways, but they still identify as women, and that's totally reasonable. I know that like a lot of people possibly in the comments would be saying that I am a butch lesbian. Honestly, I don't give a shit if you think that or not, but I am a trans man. This is how I identify, and my pronouns are he, they, they. So that is still stands, and I still stand by this to this day. This is how I started my journey. It's how I have identified from the beginning till now, and I am going to continue identifying this way because this is how I feel. And even if someday my body cannot handle being on testosterone anymore, I would hope that I would have my uterus removed by that point. But even if I don't, I probably would be documenting the trauma that I would be experiencing with having periods again. And you would be able to see my features refeminize if I still had my uterus as well. So it would be slightly uncomfortable, but would also be an experience that I would have to go through if I didn't have my uterus removed at that point. I've recently also been experiencing possibly wanting to have children, so I'm going to hold on to my uterus for a little bit longer. Usually they say that you should wait like 2 years. Some people wait only a year to get their uterus removed, and they also do get top surgery. And I say this because one of the people that I'm going to be interviewing in my next video has had top surgery and a hysterectomy, which is getting their uterus removed, and I'm going to interview them on their experiences and what it's like. And then I'm also going to have a trans lady, and she's going to also kind of talk about what her experiences are like, and kind of just like let us all know what the female aspect of being trans is kind of like. And then I was also discussing possibly with another one of my friends who's a cisgender woman, and she also has experience going and dabbling a little bit into possibly debating if she was trans at one point. But then she made the decision that she's okay with being a woman, and she is bisexual. So I'm gonna kind of interview her as well. So the next video will be kind of like a 3-4 parter, because that will be more officially my year, but I wanted to kind of have this as like my pictures of what my before I started T, my 6 months, and then now kind of pictures look like. So here's those. And so the next video will just be kind of me giving you a little bit of an update about myself at first, and then after that we'll get into the interviewing stuff. So I guess the physical aspects that I would address in this one to kind of tell you what's going on a little bit more. My breast material has gone down a lot more. I'm starting to experience it go back to a flatter chest. I was a double D when I started. I would say I'm probably a bit more of a B cup now instead of a double D, which is a significant loss in breast material. So that's not something that everybody will experience. Some people do need to get their breasts removed because they have a lot of breast, so that's a thing. But also, if you do develop a lot of muscle in this area, then you may not even need to get a top surgery, is what we call it. And so then the other changes, the curves that I had on my sides are still a little bit there, but I've experienced like a little bit more squaring out on my sides. I definitely have more muscle on my upper arm. My lower arm has experienced getting a little bit more muscle. My wrists are also quite skinny. This is another reason why I don't really like to not wear bracelets, because I am very skinny build, and naturally lots of people see small person, you are female basically, especially if you have long hair. So I guess in a way I also wear bracelets to kind of cover up my boniness, because I don't like showing off how bony I am. It is kind of a self-conscious thing, and even when I was feminine presenting, I didn't always wear bracelets, but I did like wearing bracelets once I started at my first job, and I like the spiritual effects that a lot of the crystals kind of had, and meanings, even if they don't really, for anybody who doesn't believe in that, they still are pretty, and I like to wear them. So, whatever. And then my legs have kind of buffed up a lot. I am able to go on a run, and I am able to keep going, and I don't really get too tired anymore. So strength-wise, I feel a lot more stronger. And then in the lower part of my body, which we're going to go into talking about genitalia. So if you're uncomfortable with that, I would recommend skipping to the end of the video and like giving me a thumbs up and leaving a comment or something. Otherwise, genitalia wise, my clitoris is a decent size now, and I really do like that, because I actually didn't really like having a small clitoris. I always looked at it as like it should be a penis, and even when I was a child, I always asked my mom, why don't I have both? Like, I always wanted to have both, like a penis and a vagina. I wanted both. It was a very non-binary aspect, and I honestly, when I think about like having bottom surgery, I honestly only see like my clitoris getting turned into a penis and then keeping a vagina. So it's kind of complicated, but in a way, being on testosterone has given me the chance to be able to have the bottom growth. And I also do want to warn you, if you are somebody who wants to go on testosterone, but also debating that you probably wouldn't be on it for very long, or that you may not want to have all the physical aspects, something that is permanent that comes along with it is the clitoris. If it gets bigger, it's gonna stay bigger. So once you go off of testosterone, you are stuck with a bigger clitoris. So if that is going to be like a no-go for you, then I wouldn't recommend going on to testosterone for you. For me, I was like, hell yeah, bigger clitoris, give it to me. I want a bigger clitoris. So now if I was to have a relationship with a guy and he was just like, where's the clitoris? I'd be like, bro, it's fucking huge. How can you not fucking see it? It's a lot bigger. So like, clitoris, I guess, starts out as kind of like a little nubby dude. Mine now is probably about like an inch long when I don't have like, I have a pump that I use onto it sometimes to just like make it bigger, make myself feel a little bit more comfortable, like I have an erection kind of thing. I can get it up to 2.5 inches when I use the pump. When it's literally just sitting there, it's between like 1/2 inch to 1 inch and just chilling. And this can also kind of experience some sort of effects in the sense that like I'll be wearing boxers, or I'll be wearing like maybe something a little bit tighter, like the boy shorts of like girls' underwear. When it rubs up against it, it can be arousing. So the clitoris is literally just an orgasm sense of like a body part. So on the women's body, the clitoris is literally only there for pleasure. So if I am walking around and I brush up against it, I can just sit there and be like, oh, that was unexpected. That was nice, kind of thing. So that can possibly happen in public. So that can be something that you may not want, just letting you know that it can be a thing. This is also something that guys can kind of experience. Maybe their dick rubs up against their underwear in a certain sense, and now they're starting to get an erection kind of thing. It happens. It's a thing. So that'd be kind of like the masculine side of it, where like I'm just kind of like mind my own business, and then all of a sudden, well, I would possibly be getting an erection at this moment because my underwear brushed against my quote-unquote dick at that point. But yeah, and let's see, I am getting facial hair, but it's only usually peach fuzz. That could also be potentially something that would be permanent too if you start onto testosterone, where you expect to develop the facial hair, and then you go off to testosterone, you still have facial hair, and your body could still keep growing in the facial hair. So if you decide that you don't want to be on testosterone anymore and you want to go back to being just your cisgender, that's fine. And you may experience continuing to grow facial hair. So that could be off the table for you, and you don't want that. Some people who do go off of testosterone after being on it for a while won't be growing in facial hair anymore because their feminine hormones would be so strong. But if you had a hysterectomy, you pretty much only have testosterone in your body after that. Women naturally do have testosterone in their body, but while their uterus is active and you're still producing your estrogen, the testosterone isn't as strong, so you won't be experiencing the masculine side of things. But I say this because every woman does have testosterone in their body. Why do I say this? Because once you go through menopause, you start developing to build up some facial hair. You start getting a little bit more masculine features. You have some masculizing effects of the such happening to you. So testosterone kind of forces you to go in through menopause first before that happens. I know I've addressed this before, where I went through menopause, and that is something that happens to you if you do go on to testosterone. I'm just basically doing a sum up at the moment of like the whole past year. So I went through menopause, I got the hot flashes, I experienced like all of the body aches and like needing to sleep a lot more, being lethargic, and then a couple other things that I'm not remembering at the moment. So I experienced the full menopause. It only lasted for like a week or two for me. Most people, it can last up to like a month, maybe even two. Some people may even get it like shorter term. My body didn't really like the estrogen to begin with. I got very severe periods where the point I was throwing up and I was like sick, like unhealthily sick. So I am happy I don't get periods anymore. They were very traumatizing. They were very uncomfortable. There was a couple times where I might have possibly even bled too much, which is something that happened with my mother. My mother lost 2/3 of her blood in her body because of a period 2 separate times. She had to have full blood transfusions done, and this is something I risk in having happen to myself as well, which is a huge reason why I want my my uterus out of my body. And especially after having given birth, my mom had her period for a whole entire year. No breaks. Whole entire year. So even if I was to keep it and have a child, I risk also having a period for a whole entire year afterwards, because my periods and the body changes of such and the way that my period went was pretty much the same as my mother's. So my grandmother and my great-grandmother also got uterine cancer. So this is also something that is of risk in my body. So I'm not very friendly with my uterus. I don't really like it, and I don't really want it in my body because that thing is literally going to try to kill me. And this is a big thing. And no, I am not trans because of the scary things that has gone on in my family with the women and their uteruses. I am not trans because of that. I am trans because I am trans, and it is me. This is me. I am me. I am a trans man. So, I just wanted to clarify for that, for anybody who's like, oh, all these uterus stuff seems to be like the reason why you're trans. No. I have chosen to go onto hormones because I'm trans, and this is the way that I identify. And I, again, am not here to try to make anybody who is not willing to understand. I am me, and I am a trans man, and this is who I am. I will endlessly keep saying that. And anybody who doesn't want to understand, I can't convince you to understand, and I'm not here to convince you of who I am. I am me, and I am trans. So, yeah. And let's see, any other physical changes? My shoe size changed a little bit. I used to be a size 5.5 in women's shoes. Now I'm more like a size 6 to 6.5, which translates over to a size 4 in men's. So, and I mean children's shoes in men's. So I have very tiny feet, which also makes it very difficult as a man because I have to go into the children's section if I want to buy men's shoes. My feet have also gotten wider, so wearing women's shoes are not the most comfortable because it's squeezing my feet on the sides, so I am more comfortable wearing a boy's shoe versus a woman's. Let's see, trying to think of anything else that's happened physically. Obviously my facial features have changed a tiny bit. My jawline is a little bit more present, and the fat distribution on my face has changed a little bit. Not everybody will see that, but it has. I do have the fat a little bit more here versus up here, and trying to make my face look more circular. My face looks a tiny bit more square now. My hand size has also changed a little bit. I can't wear size 6 rings on my middle finger anymore. Size 6 is... Actually, no. Size 6 fits my middle finger now versus not. I have very tiny hands. I was a size 4 on my ring finger. I am now a size 5 on my ring finger. So your ring size will also change. My wardrobe-wise, when I try to wear women's clothing, the sleeves are too tight on my arms, so that's not very comfortable anymore. I don't really wear women's clothing too much anymore. Occasionally I have a shirt or a sweatshirt here and there, but again, the sleeves are very skinny and very uncomfortable to wear. Sometimes I might enjoy it if it's a spandex material, and I just want to kind of like show off that I'm a little bit more muscular than people think that I am, but again, I'm very tiny. My arms are still tiny, even though I've built up more muscle. So it can be very difficult. Yes, I do work out, but my muscles don't build up very fast. I have more of a scrapper build. And then when it comes to women's pants sizes, the skinniness on the lower part of my leg does not really fit very well anymore because of the fact that I've built up enough muscle down below, so skinny jeans are quite uncomfortable for me. I like to have just regular slim cut or regular cut men's size. I am a 30 by or 28 by 32, so again, I am very small. I am very tall and skinny, but I am still small. So I understand why people see me the way they do, but that's also not an excuse to discriminate against me and purposefully misgender me just because you're trying to lash out against me. That is very disrespectful, I would say, and I don't appreciate that. Again, we're all trying to be here and give our respect and respect that everyone is different, and that's all I ask. And If you're not going to, then I don't understand why you're here, because I am here just to document my process and kind of expose us, and also just like be myself, you know? So I guess that kind of ends this episode. I'm not doing my injection this time. That's okay. That was done yesterday. And I also did want to say too that during the process of taking the other kind of chemistry of testosterone, I was getting some spotting, and I brought this up to my doctor. My doctor said that's kind of weird, and so she upped my dose to, like, instead of doing 2.5 in the syringe, I am now doing 3. So I wanted to let you guys know my dose got upped a little bit just because I was getting some spotting. But I did mention when I was on the ethylene, I wasn't getting spotting. So I did bring that up to her, and she was like, okay, that's just weird. So she just upped it up anyways. If I'm going to be taking the one that I got slight reactions to prior, I probably will keep the dose at the dose rate that my doctor has given me, but when I am using ethylene, I'll probably just stick with the original dosing that she gave me of the 2.5. So if I'm using ethylene, I'll be doing 2.5. If I'm using the other one, which I am blanking on the name of, I will be doing the dosage of 3. So I just want to let you guys know that. And yeah, so that basically kind of sums up what's going on. And I don't really get swelling anymore. If you wanted to see where my injection site was, it was like right here. I have a little red dot like right here. That's it. I don't get swelling. It's not itchy anymore. I have decided that I'm going to finish off the prior medications that I had. So this one right here, the ones that are in the small bottles, cyplinate, that was the one. So cyplinate, I have these that I'm going to finish off. And so I am going to be doing dosages of 3 with these ones. And the reason I have chosen to finish these off is that they expire before the ethylene, which my pharmacy finally got around to giving to me. It was after 2 months that they finally got around to giving that to me, finally. But these ones expire in 2025, so next year, in February. So I want to finish these off, and then I'm going to go back over to using the ethylene, and this way at least I also won't have the cyplinate anymore at all, because I enjoy I enjoy ethylene. It's feeling a lot more better. It feels more natural, and it doesn't have I think it's like vegetable glycerin that the cyplinate is kept in, versus the ethylene, which is kept in something that's not like that. I don't remember exactly what it is, but if you guys wanted to know, go look up the video when I switched over from cyplinate to ethylene. There is a picture of me holding the ethylene box in the picture for the front cover, if you wanted to know. I have now forgotten, but it is documented, so if you guys were curious. But yeah, and I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say for today. So if you guys wanted to give me a thumbs up, let me know that you like this video, and I'm going to be doing interviews next time, so you guys get to meet a couple of my friends, and that's going to be exciting. Please be very warm and welcoming of them, as they are along similar journeys and are involved in the community as well. So again, I have Rosie that's going to be coming in. She is the cisgender female who is bisexual. And then we got Danny, who is a trans woman. And then we also got David. He is a trans man and further along in a similar journey to me. So can't wait to have them on so you guys can all meet them. It's super exciting and I can't wait. That should be filmed sometime at the end of this month, and then slowly through the next month I will be posting week by week each interview with everybody, assuming that I am not too busy to be posting and editing those videos. So I thank you again, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please subscribe if you want to keep seeing more of my content. I am going to be filming my yellow video in my Buddhist sorcery series, and then I'm planning on doing another recipe soon, and I do want to start posting some cosmetology videos as well, but busy schedule says otherwise currently, so I'll get there eventually. And I also need to post a video to my boat series as well, because I got some updates for you guys as well. So your boy has way too many interests, and I also do want to post eventually some sort of art video of some sort, because I am artsy, and if you follow me on TikTok at all, then you can see that I like to do makeups that are really weird sometimes, and my most recent one, I am quite proud of how it came out, and it looked really awesome. Here's a picture of it. It looks so cool. And yeah, so like I'm a cosmetologist. I am a flamboyant gay boy. That's basically the best way I can explain myself. But I'm also like bisexual, but I'm asexual until like my asexuality kind of gets stepped out of the way, because gray ace kind of thing. I am demisexual. There's that one again. And so if my demisexuality is kind of met in that sense, I am bisexual. So it's like, I am open to any gender who comes, in a sense. There was another term that I had for technically not bisexual, but sort of bisexual. I can't remember it at the moment. I know I talked about it before. But all these terms are who I am. I know it seems like it's a lot if you aren't familiar with the community, but it helps me understand who I am, and be able to let people know that I understand who I am more, and then they can understand me more because of the fact that I have these specific terms that help describe who I am. And again, yes, it may seem like it's a lot, but it is the best thing that helps describe who I am. So thank you guys. Please be respectful and give me a thumbs up, and try to show some compassion and respect to everybody in the community. We are new, and we do get discriminated against because new things are scary to a lot of people, and change can be scary to a lot of people as well. So I do understand that, and I love you all, and thank you all for your views, and thank you for watching, and I am super appreciative and grateful for all of you, and I hope you guys enjoy, and thank you again.